questions.
You guys ready?
Ira, go ahead.
Okay, all right, first scrimmage down, I think, I think it was right at 100 plays. I think 60 runs, 40 passes. That was kind of by design. All three quarterbacks played. Matter of fact, it was pretty close to equal reps. Everybody on offense got a chance to play. Learned a lot about our guys individually, which was good. And usually you learn more about scrimmages than you do any kind of practice, and so it was good. Had opportunity to see how our guys responded to success, see how they responded to adversity. That's very important, as you're building the offense together. But overall, I like our guys' attitude. I think they want to be coached. I think they want to, be strained, and we try to play fast. Now, our defense did some great stuff today. I mean, it's a challenge. There's no doubt. Tony does a super job with that. But overall, there's a lot of things that we can learn off film. That's what I told our guys once I brought them up. And we'll have to improve in the areas that execution. The thing about offense that, for the most part, it usually takes all 11 being able to execute. And there was times today that we had, 8, 9, 10 guys executing and not one. But our guys will keep working to improve. And but I think overall, there was a lot of good things. Now we need to improve. Now, okay, there's a lot of areas we need to improve, but there were some good things too. Questions?
Let's get started on. Brendan?
With the idea of going fast, how have you seen the guys through 6 practices collectively kind of handle the tempo that you?
Yeah, it's been good. There's nothing like when you have officials and they're administering the game and all that, handling all the official. We that was the first time. We need to respond better at times. There were some good things, but for the most part, just as a collective group, we have to play faster. And when you play fast, you got to be mentally tough enough to execute.
Ira?
I'm sure you can't go into a spring having a firm plan for what's going to be in by a certain date, and I'm sure it's always flexible, but how do you feel after 6 practices or so?
Yeah, we have been slower to install, trying to develop a foundation, and then trying to evaluate. I just want it to be where our guys don't have to think so much that we can't evaluate, so they can play football. So, that there's not a whole lot of scheming going on. It's more of installing your plays, trying to get really, really good at the foundation. Hopefully the second part of spring we'll try to get a little fancier and all that, but this is base offense at this time.
Chris?
How did guys in the offensive backfield do today in general?
We gave them a lot of carries, and that was by design too. I mean, we wanted to evaluate them. There were some good things. I mean, anytime you're standing on the sideline and we hadn't been able to watch the film. I mean, once I watch the film, I'll be able to tell you, a lot more. But we protected the ball. I think that was really the number one thing. The running backs, that first day, the scrimmage and all that, we protected the football. But I'll be able to tell you a lot more once we watch the film.
Yeah.
Coach Norvell mentioned a couple one-on-one wins for the wide receivers. What did you see from that group?
Yeah, there was a couple explosive plays. I mean, there was a couple plays our DBs did a really good job too. So, and it's been that way pretty much, all spring.
Jordan?
Coach, following up on the run game, the offensive line, what have those combinations been like, and just how have the center and quarterback connection been going so far?
Yeah, Luke's doing, first of all, Luke is doing an outstanding job, identifying everything. He's a veteran guy, played a lot of football, and, we've had some linemen move around, and anytime you have to move linemen around, it's kind of hard to get continuity. So hopefully the rest of the spring we'll start getting our guys in spots and be able to develop that continuity. But Luke's off to a great start, and I've been very impressed with it.
Kirk?
You talked about Coach White's defense and the challenge of going against it. I guess what was your impression of it going into spring, and I guess what's it been like in reality going against it through 6 practices?
Of course, I'm a little familiar, with that kind of scheme, and it's untraditional, and he knows his answers. He's really good, and just the challenges of IDing the backers and things like that. They do a great job of disguising the coverages and all that, and they did a really good job today.
Corey?
You coached Tommy, I guess 3 years ago now. How much has he grown since that time? How much has he jumped right back into this offense and learned?
Yeah, and of course it has been 3 years ago, and he still has a good foundation of what we did. But I think the biggest difference is you can tell that he has 2 years of starting experience, and you can tell that, you know, the game's slower for him. And you know, he can really create things, and you know, he's off to a good start this spring.
Aslan?
Guys like Squirrel White and Kai Danzy, just their unique skill set, are you able to kind of scratch the surface on what that can be, or is the install so basic right now?
No, well, I mean, you know, Squirrel, we got a lot of information. He's played a lot of football. He's dynamic. And Danzy, you know, he's bouncing, you know, both track and football. When he's been out there with us, I mean, you can tell he's explosive and he can really run.
When you talk about learning guys, seeing them in a scrimmage situation, are you talking about just what they do physically or how they handle situations?
Everything.
Really?
I mean, everything. You get out there and the coach is on the sideline and they're out there. I mean, it's real life. It's real football. You know, are they going to be able to execute? They're going to be able to play fast. They're going to be able to make plays. When things go bad, are they going to be over there pouting, or are they going to have bright eyes and let's go next play? So it's just really all the above. And I learned more today, all right, than probably a good chance maybe the first, you know, four practices or 5, right, or whatever. So, but that's normal in scrimmages. That's real football, which is really exciting.
Corey?
Have you liked so far the physicality and toughness that's trying to be instilled and developed?
We're getting there. I mean, we're getting there. It's a process. You know, it's a process, and we'll get better. Our goal is to get better each day at it. You know, it's a process.
Now that you've got this important data set of a scrimmage, what do you look for now this upcoming week in terms of?
Yeah, I think first of all, we're evaluating our guys. It's a good evaluation of where each individual guy is, getting a specific plan for each individual to improve. And we'll do that. And then, of course, you know, my job is collectively as a group start trying to identify our strengths and try to build around those strengths.
Got a couple more for Coach Malzahn. Sure.
Coach, with the new offensive staff, how has that been through the first couple of practices, and then also specifically today? Did you call all the plays, and how did that balance work with Coach Norvell as well?
Yeah. First of all, our offensive staff is very comfortable. Obviously, the guys have been with me before, and then the guys that you know I've not been with, I was already familiar with, and you know the offense is really from the same family, and so it's been very comfortable. And yeah, I called all the plays today.
Aslan?
Initial impressions on Pettibone and Pettis, were they able to bring to the offensive line?
Yeah. I mean, both of them are veteran guys. I mean, you can just tell they played a lot of football and a lot of experience. And you know, there's nothing like experience.
Coach Norvell has mentioned a few times this spring that Kevin Sperry carries himself well for a freshman. Is the fact that, you know, all the quarterbacks are learning a new system right now, is that good for a freshman in terms of being on the same page?
I think so, and you know, he's getting their opportunities. I mean, we're rotating all three, and Kevin's got a skill set, and he can run. Like he can really run, and you know, he's growing. You know, the moment hadn't really been too big for him, which that's fairly unusual for a true freshman. But so far, I've been really impressed with him. It's very, very important to him. I mean, you know, quarterbacks. You know, you got to have quarterbacks that are desperate. I mean, desperate to be the best they can be, and you know, I think all three of those guys have really showed that. You know, through the first 6 practices.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.